Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Four Agreements. We are learning about the second agreement, which is not to take anything personally. In last episode, we read about how not to take things personally. People might tell you that you are wonderful, or they might tell you that you are just so awful. But knowing to yourself that you are wonderful, that's all matters. It is not at all necessary to believe other people. Even if someone got a gun and shot you in the head, author tells us he knows that it is extreme, but even in that scenario, it was nothing personal. Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you don't need to take them personally. You don't need to take whatever you hear in your mind personally, author says. The mind has ability to talk to itself, but it also has the ability to hear information that is available from all over. Sometimes you might hear voice in your mind and you may wonder where is it come from. This voice may have come from another reality, from something someone Toltecs call as allies. In Europe, Africa, India, these are called gods. He is sort of introducing a very new concept here. He says that our mind also lives in the reality and can perceive the reality of the level of gods, of the level of our allies. The mind sees with the eyes and perceives this waking reality. But the mind also sees and perceives without eyes, although the reason is hardly aware of this perception. The mind lives in more than one dimension. There may be times when you have ideas that you know that it's not originated in your mind, but you are perceiving them with your mind. You have the right to believe or not to believe these voices and the right not to take what they say personally. He says the mind is also divided as your body is divided. It can happen that part of your mind is speaking, but the other part is listening, and the third part is maybe somewhere else in the world. And isn't it a big problem when thousand parts of your mind trying to speak at the same time? And this is what is mitote. About this mitote, Maya, we have learned in few episodes before. This mitote can be compared to a huge marketplace where thousands of people are talking and bartering at the same time. Each one has different thoughts and feelings. Each one has a different point of view. The programming in the mind, all of the agreements which we have made, are not necessarily compatible with each other. Every agreement is like a separate living being in a mind, and it has its own personality, its own voice. There are conflicting agreements that go against other agreements, and on until it becomes a big war in our mind. The mitote is the reasons humans hardly know what they want, how they want, and when they want. They don't agree with themselves because these are the parts of the mind that want one thing and other parts want exactly the opposite. So there is just chaos in the mind. Only by making an inventory of our agreements, we can uncover all these conflicts in the mind and eventually make order out of chaos of mitote. He's trying to explain to us that some part of the mind has objections to certain thoughts and actions, while the other parts support the same action and the opposing thoughts. And it creates a lot of inner conflict because all of the thoughts are there in our own mind, and each of the thought has its own voice. So it's kind of very chaotic in our mind. And this chaos of confusion can only be cleared out when we sort of make an inventory of all these agreements and actually see the truth, what is there in our mind. This chaos, this confusion creates difficulty in knowing who we are. And when we do not know who we are, we end up believing in opinions of others. We end up taking their poison. We end up taking their garbage. And that is what is the cause of suffering. If we take things personally, which happens because we don't know ourselves, we will end up suffering at different levels, at different degrees. An interesting point here, Miguel is telling us that we humans are addicted to suffering and we sort of help each other in maintaining these addiction. So humans agree to help each other to suffer. He gives example, if someone has a need to be abused, that person will find it easy to be abused by others. Likewise, if you are with people who need to suffer, something in you will make you abuse them. It is as if they have a note on their back which says, "Please kick me." They are asking for justification for their suffering. Their addiction to suffering is nothing but an agreement that they reinforce every day. He picks up another concept and tells us that wherever you go, you will find people lying to you. And as your awareness grows, you will notice that you are also lying to yourself. Do not expect other people to tell you truth because they also lie to themselves. You have to trust yourself and choose to believe or not to believe what someone says to you. Just because someone says something to you, you do not have to take it. It is always your choice to believe in it or not to believe in it. When we really see other people as they are, without taking things personally, what happens is we can never be hurt by anyone they say or they do. Even if others lie to you, it is okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid. You will know that they are not perfect. If you are truthful with yourself, you will save yourself a lot of emotional pain. If you feel that someone is not treating you with love and respect, it is a gift if they walk away from you. But if that person doesn't walk away, you will surely endure many years of suffering. Walking away may hurt for a while, but your heart will eventually heal. Then you can choose what you really want. You will find that you don't need to trust others as much as you need to trust your own self to make the right choice. When you make it a strong habit not to take anything personally, your anger, jealousy, envy will disappear, and even your sadness. There is a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. You become immune to black magicians, their spells, however strong it may be. The whole world can gossip about you, and if you don't take it personally, you are immune, you are at peace. Someone can intentionally send emotional poison, and if you don't take it personally, you're not going to eat it. When you don't take the emotional poison, it becomes even worse for the sender, but not for you. You can see how important this agreement is, isn't it? It is making you immune to all the social noises around you and even to the rubbish talk, the poison you talk about yourself. When you start practicing this second agreement, you indirectly begin to break dozens of teeny tiny agreements that cause you suffer. And if you practice the first two agreements, you will almost break 75% of these teeny tiny agreements that are keeping you in sadness, in hell. Author here is encouraging us to write this agreement on paper and put it on a refrigerator to remind you all the time. Remind you all the time that don't take anything personally. Now, the last bit of this chapter is very, very important. Let's get into it. When you make a habit of not taking anything personally, you don't need to place your trust in what others do or they say. You will only need to trust yourself to make responsible choices. He says, you are never responsible for the actions of others. You can and are only responsible for you. When you truly understand this and refuse to take things personally, you can hardly be hurt by the careless comment or action of others. If you keep this agreement, you can travel around the world, he says, with your heart completely open and no one can hurt you. You can say, I love you without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or you can say no, whatever you choose, without guilt or self judgment. It is possible when you start practicing this second agreement. You can choose to follow your heart always because it doesn't matter what other people's opinions are. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. You can stay in your state of bliss and hell will not affect you at all. And that's where this chapter ends. How wonderfully he has explained the very, very simple, practical way of not being affected by the rubbishness, by the chaos of the world around us and in our minds. We will move on to third agreement in our next episode, which is not to make any assumptions. Until next episode, love and light.